21. We have 16 speakers speaking on the virtual stage covering topics in all 8 dimensions of life. I'm Patricia Jo Grover, the Goal Achievement Strategist and also your host. I want to take a moment to thank people behind the scenes helping me out, Shelley Deckett and Karen Forrest, and our sponsors, Dr. Liz Eisingring, Annie Gibbons, Shelley Deckett, Christina Tortor, Jenny Ambrose, Thomas Canty, Ava Goulet, Rich Brauntrager, and Sheila Faust. The Bliss Retreat for Women is also a proud sponsor of the event, where you will learn to believe in yourself, love yourself, identify what's holding you back, set free what no longer serves you, and set course towards achieving your dreams and goals. The event will be held on Zoom July 30th and Saturday, July 31st from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The tickets are $150 per person until midnight, July 10th. Then they'll go to $175 per person. We'll have the Eventbrite link here for you to get registered.
Fantastico has built not only beautiful, masterful, but effective visual, verbal, and strategic experiences, making businesses and brands irresistible to their ideal client and market for over 15 years. By blending design, anthropology, critical thinking, and emotional intelligence, Puree Fantastico has crafted all sorts of creative solutions for Old Navy, American Greetings, Charles Schwab, HSN, and literally thousands of other businesses across the globe. Sometimes taking them from 5 million to 500 million in revenue, sometimes increasing inquiries from 5 to 15 times, and even sometimes increasing enrollment from 30 to 77%. Are you ready to build a business that's authentically grounded in who you are, what you want to bring to this world, and how you want others to feel around you and your work? Come find out at pureefantastico.com.
Welcome to the Rise Above Summit in the emotional dimension of life. And today you may recognize this face because she was the one who was a sponsor of the emotional dimension of life. And I just had her as a guest on my show the other day. And I want to welcome Jenny Ambrose of Puree Fantastico. And let me tell you a little bit about Jenny. You know, she is the founder of an award-winning design, science, and strategy studio, Puree Fantastico. Part scientist, part artist, and all powerhouse, Jenny knows how to sync her clients' deepest voice and concerns and communicate the solutions as if they'd always been present, because they are. Her business blends design and anthropology, something that no one else does, nor has anyone else dared to do. She's made her niche out of this, and she's sticking to it with gusto and passion that far outweighs her other counterparts. Oh my goodness, so glad to have you here with us, Jenny.
So glad to be here.
Oh my goodness. So this is in the emotional dimension, when people may have a hard time understanding until we get talking to know why we would have you in the emotional dimension, because you help make that connection. So let me ask you some questions. I mean, you mix part science and part art, and with everything. So it's very, very cool. You take, as for a person such as myself, you take our voice and you make it connect to go out to get and help us draw in potential clients.
Yeah.
So go ahead and kind of explain a little bit about that for us.
So I use emotions as a beacon, is the easiest way to explain that. What we send out, we attract. And it's very easy for me to translate how we feel, how we're speaking, the goals that we want, the way that we want to come across, they're all subjective. So just because you might be the same type of whatever as someone else doesn't mean you will want to communicate or express yourself in the same way or talk to the same type of people, and that makes you completely different. So I listen, and what I listen for is how you're talking about it, obviously the words that you're using, the mood and the tone that you're carrying, like everything. I analyze everything. And then I look at how you want that to feel. How you want it to feel is how it is delivered. And how it is delivered means who it attracts. And so what you're talking about is demographic markets, you're talking about positioning, you're talking about copywriting, but it all boils down to, what do you want people to feel? How do you want them to experience your work? And what do you want them to take away as that experience when they talk about you, when they think about you?
Yeah, so that's connecting your authentic self to the emotions that you emote, right?
And that's when you show up in your business with that authenticity, it is the golden beacon. And I know that because that's how I've done it for myself. I know no other way. I know the way that comes naturally to me. I know the way that feels good. And when left on our own devices, that's what we're going to gravitate towards. And that's great. Yeah. So then if you do it intentionally and you cultivate it, you are creating a business that is emotionally sustainable. You are creating a business that allows you that resilience to come back when things are ridiculous, because things are going to get ridiculous. But it allows you to show up in a way that feels good. And that is going to get the right people.
Oh, fantastic. And this is so true. And it's connecting with me. So you do a blend and with everything, with science, with anthropology. And I know you've studied immensely in all areas. Can you share with everybody a little bit about your background?
So I am a natural born polymath. If it's good enough for Leonardo da Vinci and Alexander Hamilton, it is good enough for me. And that just means that I pick up skills like people pick up cat hair off their clothes. Like it happens. And I live and have always lived for culture and language and art. At 18 months, I was wriggling out of my crib to draw at my Sesame Street table. At 6 years old, I was imitating the Mandarin from my mother watching foreign films and irritating my entire family as I did that for a while. But my birthdays were always like an easel or a pottery wheel or learn Japanese tape. I thrive in that. And that led me to studying anthropology and culture while making t-shirts and stickers at home for fun. Because I had the belief that you couldn't be creative and make money. And I am a very wealthy-minded woman who needs a lot of money. So I figured go for the serious career that at least I was passionate about. And I can always create art on the side. So my boyfriend at the time dared me to apply to art school with the binder of things that I had made for myself. Like they were not the official portfolio. And I was invited on a Chichen Itza dig the same week that I went into art school. And it was like I chose art. It was something that I had wanted for a really long time. And I was going to do it. I was going to do it my all. And I did. I was top of my class. In art school, I took every opportunity to use the projects to communicate something. So one of the projects I had was design a poster or a book, some sort of tactile experience that mapped out the narrative in a non-linear film. So 12 Monkeys, Reservoir Dogs, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Rashomon, those types of films. I did Magnolia. And I'm like, This movie is about relationships. Math is also about relationships. I will use math to show the interconnectivity of these characters. To me, it made so much sense that I'm like, this is PEMDAS. This is 7th grade algebra, people. Like, get it together. And so I do a presentation. Keep in mind, this is senior year in college. I am 22. And people are like, I don't get it. Can you explain it? And I'm like, oh my God, if you don't get this, I feel bad for you. Like, this is very easy. And in that moment, I should have seen that I may make sense to myself, but I don't always make sense to others. And I should have learned this, but I did not. I did not until I started doing my own business and carrying with confidence the vision I recognized, but no one else saw. And it's because it's my job. That vision is my job to nurture and to share and to express and to lovingly bring into this world and gracefully teach the everyone's that this is how it could be seen. Not that it is, not that they need to see it that way. This is how I see it. This is my experience. And that's how people find me, is through that confidence and through that dedication to showing my vision.
And that passion shows in it the way that you are to express your authenticity, and you help other people with their businesses express their own authenticity and serve in the way that best suits them.
And honestly, we're all authentic. And what I love so much about my business is that I work equally well with a 50-year-old psychiatrist who claims, he is a punk rock psychiatrist, or a burlesque dancer who writes erotic fan fiction and reads it in the nude. I've worked with the German government. I've worked with Charles Schwab. I've worked with executive CEOs of military, and like on and on and on and on, because my passion, because it is my job to help them with their authenticity. We're not all crazy, colorful shapes and butterflies here. I am. I am. And so if people are put off by that or they don't understand that, they're not my people, and that's okay.
Right. So that brings me to ask you, who is your ideal client, Jenny?
See, I do psychographics, not demographics.
So can you explain what psychographics are for everyone?
Psychographics are the emotional and psychological makeup, right? So it's the mindset, it's the attitude, it's the personality. Not necessarily the age, the income bracket where they're located, or the niche or the service that they're in, because that's irrelevant to me. I work with enthusiastic, open-minded, solution-oriented individuals that have a vision or have a mission or want to see something they have not seen before and are willing to do the work and make it happen. Because I learned the hard way that just because I'm passionate and enthusiastic and dedicated to your project does not mean I can do it for both of us. Womp womp.
But so true. So now that we know who it is, how do you work with these people?
Well, it depends on what they want. So a lot of it is branding, websites, business names, developing strategic markets. I've made commercials. I've done packaging, calligraphy, illustration. I've even done a sitcom for a woman who homesteads chickens in her backyard. Super fun. Trade shows, award shows. Give it to me. I can do it. And that's the truth, because one of the things I didn't talk about on my talk that I'll share here is I am building something that's never been done before. It's my own project. It's a separate team from Puree Fantastico, even though it's IP. It's a research project I've been working on for 13 years. And before this, I was on a meeting with my developer where we're looking up, interactions and animations and what does this navigational structure look like? I mean, leading a project, being a team of 1, 2, 3. Nope, she hired somebody. A team of 5. I'm sorry, everyone. But it is a way to understand design as I understand it. It is walking people through design messaging and how that applies to culture. In a website, so I've had to build my own content management system. So I've built my own like Netflix. I wrote a 450,000 word database. The things I have done to bring this project to life. And we are almost at launch. So I understand the dedication and the stress and the fear, not just from my own business, which that comes, but business plus vision, plus mission. It's a whole other ballgame.
Yes. And so I'm so glad that you're sharing this here with us on the Rise Above Summit. So we're getting an inside scoop.
Oh yeah, juice.
I know that we said before when we were talking, when you work with clients, it's kind of like you ask if you said sit inside their brain.
Oh yeah, I don't ask. I have to. That's why I say open-minded, because if you are closed off to me, I mean, look, it is, I am an empathetic person. I am a kind person, but I do need to understand. And I do need to hear the things that you think are weird, or that might not make sense. I need to see the messiness so that I can understand what's going on in there, or what you perceive as messiness is like the perfect solution for me. So I definitely like try and sit in there and view the world as they perceive it, so that when I make my visual decisions, have their preferences as my boundary. I'm not here to talk anybody into anything. I'm here to support what they want, support how they want it to look, support how they want it to feel, so that when we are done, they look at this and like, this fits like a glove.
Yeah.
That's my role.
Yes.
Okay. When a client comes back and he's like, I broke my exclamation point, I'm so happy. That is when I have done my job.
Yes.
Not when someone's like, oh, maybe I like this. No, I don't want to hear maybe. Let's throw out maybe. Let's look at what is best. What makes you happy? Because to talk yourself into something, when it is literally pulling from you, building for you, creating that foundation for you, all you do is sell yourself short.
Right. Right.
So,
and exactly. Again, with business today, and wanting to stand out from other people that are still doing, you may be doing almost exactly the same thing.
So let me interrupt you. I lovingly interrupt you to tell you that I really don't think that you have any competition truly. So I was working as a design director for this company, working with photographers exclusively. And I ended up branding 2 photographers in Southern California that were best friends. They sent me exactly the same inspiration, pretty much like 4/5 the exact same images. But what they saw in those images, what they wanted out of those, what blended with different elements, you would never even think that they were friends. You would never even think that the inspiration are from the same place, because it's a journey. So I'm of the belief that there's no one out there doing what you want to do, saying how you want to say it, experiencing it the way you want people to experience it, the why in which you do it, who you do it for. All of that is differentiating. All of that is your brand position. And none of that says what you actually do. All of that is how you do it, why you do it, what's that feel like, what's that look like. It doesn't matter if you are a doctor or you do underwater basket weaving. It really does not matter.
Oh, that is so cool, Jenny. It really is, because, there are so many, the summit is going out to people who are, in all kinds of, the genres of what they're doing. And, right now, competition to build back up and get seen in the world the way it is today is is tough. So for
Well,
people
here's what I
finding
do
ways to
point out.
differentiate.
It's an opportunity. It's not necessarily competition. The only person you're in competition with is yourself and who you want to be. Everybody else is on their own journey. It's not even equatable. Like we talk about apples and oranges, it's like apples and hippopotamuses. Like it's not even real. So here right now, with a lot of people starting from maybe a low place or an insecure place, here's this amazing opportunity to take what you've learned across your entire life and connect it with something that reminds you of you. Because that's going to be something that's not going to be able to take anything away from you. Even if your neighbor sold the same thing or offered the same service, it just wouldn't be the same. So once you drill down and define that and own that and have the confidence within that, you become a completely different animal. No one mistakes an Apple computer for a Dell computer. They're both computers.
Right, right. You're so right, Jenny. And I work with clients in that aspect, but just the way that you're explaining that for people when they're looking at how they're going to market and represent themselves, it makes
You have
perfect
the
sense.
opportunity to set that tone. One of the clients I'm working with is a 50-year-old psychiatrist, and he has a very different approach to himself, to his work, to what he wants to say than every other psychiatrist I've worked with. And my job with him is to say, look, it's okay for you to claim your authority and set your tone. You don't have to worry about being perceived as X or Y because you're saying, perceive me as G, perceive me as X plus 2. It doesn't matter. You're setting that standard, you're setting that tone. And then the conversation changes around you because you have the chutzpah to claim what you want to say.
And you're drawing that person, your specific client, you're drawing that person to you because of your passion, because of your personality.
And you will, it's a natural boundary because while you attract the right people, you naturally detract the wrong people. Because as wonderful as I am, there are definitely people I'm not interested in working with. And because I am so loudly myself, those people don't show up.
But no, I applaud that. I applaud that, sister, because I really do. I think that makes all the difference. There is a person um, that works better for different people and just different personalities, and no matter what industry it is.
And there are plenty of people, there's plenty to go around, there's plenty of clients to go around. Just focus on the things that bring you joy and you will attract the right things. You're not being irresponsible by celebrating the things that feel natural and good.
That's right. But the thing is, there's only one you. There's only one pure Fantastico that does what you do, and that's so. This is so fantastic. So, do you have any gifts for our summit attendees?
I do. So one of the things I love to help people with is thinking through imagery and communicating in a way that allows their opinions to be heard. Because it's all subjective, it's all meaningless, and it's all wonderful. So I have an inspiration translator that allows you to get inside my brain and journal maybe images that you've compiled or even the clothes in your closet if you'd like to go there. But what you do is you look at the things and you think about them. What they make you feel, what are the elements, what are the moments, like describe that, really embrace that. And if you can talk about it, you can recognize it. If you can recognize it, you can create it for yourself. So it's a gift I offer that is a piece of the process, and then you can come and work with me.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. So where can the people get this, Jenny?
pureefantastico.com/inspiration translator.
Okay, so wonderful. And again, thank you for being with us here on the Rise Above Summit in the emotional dimension.
What a blessing. Thank you so much.
Bye. Welcome to the Rise Above Summit, July of 2021. We have 16 speakers speaking on the virtual stage covering topics in all 8 dimensions of life. I'm Patricia Jo Grover, the Goal Achievement Strategist and also your host. I want to take a moment to thank people behind the scenes helping me out, Shelley Deckett and Karen Forrest, and our sponsors, Dr. Liz Eisingring, Annie Gibbons, Shelley Deckett, Christina Tortor, Jenny Ambrose, Thomas Canty, Ava Goulet, Rich Brauntrager, and Sheila Faust. The Bliss Retreat for Women is also a proud sponsor of the event, where you will learn to believe in yourself, love yourself, identify what's holding you back, set free what no longer serves you, and set course towards achieving your dreams and goals. The event will be held on Zoom July 30th and Saturday, July 31st from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The tickets are $150 per person until midnight, July 10th. Then they'll go to $175 per person. We'll have the Eventbrite link here for you to get registered. Welcome to the Rise Above Summit in the emotional dimension of life. I have with me today Bobbie Crocker, and let me tell you a little bit about Bobbie. So she actually is a transitional coach for women over 40. She's a best-selling author and best-selling international author who specializes in helping women change their trajectory in their lives. She does this by creating customized plans and helps clients to identify, pursue, and achieve their life's vision, giving them credible hope that there is indeed a future after setbacks, which we all know that life happens to every single one of us, whether we're ready for it or not. So we all have setbacks that we have to face. So, hello there, Bobbie.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, great to have you on the Rise Above Summit with us in the emotional dimension of life, because again, like I just said, we all know that life happens to every single one of us, whether we're ready for it or not. And that contains all of the things that you're talking about, so many different transitions and shifts, and what we have all had to go through with the global pandemic. So we had all those emotions attached to so many things going on throughout that. But now that the world is starting to open up, there's another range of emotions in the different things that it's affecting people such as your clients. So can you tell me a little bit about your life, and we'll go from there?
Absolutely. First and foremost, thank you so much for inviting me. I'm so excited to be here with the summit and be amongst this group of incredible speakers, and it's just fabulous. So about me, well, I live in Minnesota. I am a mother of 2 and a grandmother of 8. They range, yes, I know, 8. I have a 19-year-old all the way down to 2 3-year-olds. And they obviously are, my pride and joy, as are my children. But I do wear many hats as well. I am a customer relations manager for a home health agency here in Minnesota. And I am their number 1 sales and marketing person. And it gives me great pleasure. What I do is I connect our senior population with services that can help them stay in their homes for a longer period of time safely. And that it brings me great joy. And I think that's why I am so successful. But along with that, I am also a transitions coach for women over 40. And it's my pleasure to help these women dig a little deeper and try to find out what it is they want to do with what they've got in their life right now and where they're headed. So that's where I'm at. And that's just a little bit of a nutshell version of who I am. I don't know if I mentioned my age, and I'm quite proud of my age. I am 58 years old. And so, yeah, I am very proud of my age. After I turned 50, I did think, gosh, I don't know if I should be telling people, how old I am and whatnot. But I have a lot of experience that got me to this age. And so I'm just going to raise my hand and shout it.
Fantastic. And I applaud that. And no woman should be ashamed of how old they are. Whatever they've gone through, they are who they are today because of what they have experienced in life. The good, the bad, and the ugly make us who we are. So talking about that, Bobbie Jo, I say Bobbie Jo because my middle name's Jo and it's the Southern thing, Patty Jo. How did you get where you are today?
Oh my gosh. Well, we're going to go back in time a little bit. We're going to go back about 10 years. And obviously there's more things prior to that. But 10 years ago, I found myself in the midst of a divorce from my second husband, losing my home to foreclosure, losing the business that my husband and I had developed, and also being somewhat of an empty nester all at the same time.
Big thing.
So, yeah, that was a lot coming down on me all at the same time, and all at, the age of, I guess it went from like 46 to 48. With all of that was going on, there were so many emotions that I was feeling. It was, I was embarrassed. Here I am getting divorced for the second time around. I'm losing my home to foreclosure, and that's public knowledge. I'm losing my business. Again, that's public knowledge. I'm living in my home community, so I know a lot of people, and everyone's going to know. So there's some humiliation and whatnot. So that's kind of what started the ball rolling. Everything fell apart, and I find myself, I don't want to say homeless, but I was virtually homeless. I was couch surfing. Friends, family and such, they were also kind to me. It wasn't like I had to beg or anything like that. But imagine the humiliation of toting basically my stuff around in the car and going from here to there. I did find employment. I was working. It was a very good job and whatnot, and I found jobs that I was doing, to keep myself afloat somewhat. And I did that for several years, and, wasn't really holding my head up very high. And then there came a point in time where my significant other was actually helping me. He was helping me try to, look for jobs and whatnot that would suit me and my skill set. And he found one. And it was for this position that I'm actually still in right now as the customer relations manager. And he presented it to me. And I looked at it and I thought to myself, this can't possibly be a real job, because it hit every single skill set that I had, bringing all of my background with me. But I decided, I'll throw my hat in the ring. Let's just see when I get there. And so I went to the interview. It was phenomenal. I absolutely loved the general manager that was interviewing me. And as I was driving back home that day, I got a call and they offered me the job. And and so that started to help me bring my self-esteem back up, my self-confidence. Obviously, I was making some money. I was able to, get my own place back and find my own place. And so that started to just build and build and build. And then I decided that I had been through some things and I had learned a lot. And I thought, I can bring this knowledge and help someone else. And I really didn't know how to do that, but I knew that I wanted to do that. And I had to figure out how to do it. But I'd always thought, or I'd grown up with the idea that if you don't do something yourself, then you're really not successful. You can't really take credit for any of your success. And so I lived with that for quite a few years. But once I decided that I did want to help more people, and I tried to do it alone for quite a while, and it just was not working. And I was blind to people that were actually reaching out to me at quite a few points in my life. I just didn't know the signals that were coming, from the universe. But once I realized that, and I did reach out, and the first person that I contacted was just phenomenal. And from there, the ball just kept rolling. And those people out there know who they are. They were the ones that started. And I'm so grateful for them. And so that is a little bit about how I got to where I'm at right now.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So from all that you have experienced yourself, and that's why you decided to become a transition coach for women over 40, because you experienced these things yourself and you want to help people. So for those that don't know, can you share exactly what a transition coach is?
I can. Many of you have heard, I know all of you have heard what a life coach is. And, I started out being what I thought I should be as a life coach. I wanted to help coach people in their lives. But the further I got into it, the more I knew that what my niche was helping women like myself. And the reason I wanted to do that is because I feel and felt that I would be relatable to them because of my life experience and circumstances. And I can share with them, what it is that happened to me that got me here, the emotions, the humiliation, the embarrassment, that kind of thing. And so that is why I evolved, and I say evolved, from a life coach into a transition coach. Now, a transition coach, when I say transition coach, what I mean is, I think when that word is said, people think it's a grandiose thing that has to happen. You've had a big transition in life. Maybe you've lost your spouse, you've divorced, you're an empty nester, anything, that's big or catastrophic. And it doesn't always have to be that way. It can be a small transition. Who are we to judge how big a transition is for someone? What they think is a small transition to us might be a huge transition. So my goal is to help people identify what it is they want to do as they come through that transition. Oftentimes when we have a transition, and I fell into this same black hole, you just kind of become paralyzed and you don't know where to move from that, how to move forward. And that is my goal, is to help these women identify what it is they're feeling in this transition. What do they see or not see their future bringing, and help them just bring light into maybe what they're feeling is a really dark situation, and just showing them that there is light at the end of that dark tunnel.
And that's a real thing. It's a real thing. Bobbie, like you had said, you never know how significant a change, even a little change. Some people don't do change well. So when they have something that messes with their life as they had known it, everybody deals with things in a different way. And that is very emotional. And so having those experiences yourself makes it that much easier to work with and want to help people get through these things. So I totally understand that. So yeah. Who would you say, Bobbie, is your ideal client?
Oh my gosh, I can't wrap this up in a pretty little gift box and tie it with a bow. So I used to think I could, but obviously I can't. My ideal client is obviously, again, a woman over 40 that is experiencing some type of change. We don't even need to use the word transition. Some type of change that she's really not sure how to deal with it or to move forward from it, and taking from it the life experience that she has. So anyone who's having that gut feeling, in your heart, in your gut, even in your mind, that I'm just not feeling right about this. I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do with this little ball of change. That person is my ideal client. That person is the one that I want to help, again, see the light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak.
And that's very clear. So why are you specific with whom you want to work?
I am specific because I don't really feel that I could serve someone younger than 40. My life experiences, I grew up in a different generation, a different time. What those younger people are feeling and experiencing in our world right now is not something that I can clearly and truly identify with. Those over 40, I can, really liken our lives quite a bit more. Women specifically, well, obviously I am one. And I think that, I really couldn't identify or help a man as much as I would like to. I'm sure I could get there to a certain point, but perhaps I wouldn't really understand what he was feeling. And that's just me. So I decided a bit ago that this was my niche. And this is who I could help. I could bring my life experiences, my emotions, things that I went through, and help. Hopefully, these women would feel comfortable with me because we share like experiences or similarities.
Wonderful. And how do you help these women?
Well, the first thing we have to do is to have a chat. We have to, whether it be virtual and, sometimes it can be person to person, depending on your location. And we get to know each other a little bit, and we try to, we do figure out what is your sticking point? What is that change? What is that transition that you're going through? And so once we figure that out, then we actually sit down and we write out some goals. And this doesn't all happen at once. We start with the big one, and, we can work backwards many times with this. And, the goals, there's steps and there's small goals. You don't just catapult yourself right to your big old goal, right, to start with. So we work on that, and we do it step by step. And, there's bumps in the road. You might have a setback or two. Well, then that means we have to, make another plan and deal with that setback. So we do that and by speaking with each other at least once a week. There's many different ways that we can set this up, whatever works for a person's schedule or their wants and needs. So that's basically how that starts.
Wonderful, wonderful. And so how can people connect with you, Bobbie?
Currently, they can connect with me through both my Facebook pages, either personally at Bobbie Crocker. I also have a Ms. Bobbie Crocker Facebook page, which is a group for like-minded people. You can message me through either one of those. I am currently rebuilding my website, but I do have a website up right now that you could still connect with me on, and that's MsBobbieCrocker.org. So you can go ahead and connect with me through there as well, or email, and that's MsBobbieCrocker@outlook.com.
Wonderful, wonderful. And so do you have gifts for our summit attendees?
I do. I have a 5-step goal setting starter PDF for those that would be interested, and I hope there are many that are interested. And along with that, we're also going to do a free 20-minute, and I call it a compatibility call, because, as much as we may be alike, we may not be compatible. Not everyone is, not all personalities gel. And if that were to be the case, I certainly would not be able to help you the way I want to help you. So we have to make sure we're compatible. And so along with the 5-step First, the starter goal PDF, you also get that 20-minute call. And they will receive that. You will receive that through email. So again, my email, Ms. Bobbie Crocker at outlook.com.
Oh, so wonderful. I'm sure people will reach out to you to get that, Bobbie. It's been so wonderful to have you with us in the emotional dimension of life. And we do know all those things that we just talked about and you shared is an emotional journey for people. So
it certainly is.
So wonderful to have you. And thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much. And I hope to hear from many of our listeners and our viewers. Again, thank you. Bye.
Bye. Welcome to the Rise Above Summit, July of 2021. We have 16 speakers speaking on the virtual stage covering topics in all 8 dimensions of life. I'm Patricia Jo Grover, the Goal Achievement Strategist and also your host. I want to take a moment to thank people behind the scenes helping me out, Shelley Deckett and Karen Forrest, and our sponsors, Dr. Liz Eisingring, Annie Gibbons, Shelley Deckett, Christina Tortor, Jenny Ambrose, Thomas Canty, Ava Goulet, Rich Brauntrager, and Sheila Faust. The Bliss Retreat for Women is also a proud sponsor of the event, where you will learn to believe in yourself, love yourself, identify what's holding you back, set free what no longer serves you, and set course towards achieving your dreams and goals. The event will be held on Zoom July 30th and Saturday, July 31st from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The tickets are $150 per person until midnight, July 10th. Then they'll go to $175 per person. We'll have the Eventbrite link here for you to get registered.